Good morning. Today we are here in New York to announce a historic arrest across a wide-sweeping criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and Cosa Nostra.
Included the defendant, Chauncey Billups, who at the time of the scheme was a former NBA player and is currently the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers.
So here is another example of a game that I'm convinced Chauncey Billups threw on purpose.
Fraud these people out of millions of dollars.
But instead of that, him and Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, the Jonte Porters of the world, chose to try and get away with a financial crime in the year of 2025, when quite honestly, at this present time right now, the worst thing that you can be is black or brown and the criminal. And straight like that, we back, man. I hope everybody doing well, doing swell out there in TV land, TV world, whatever you deem it to be, you dig? As for me, myself, and I, man, I cannot complain. If I did, no one would like to hear it. So here we are, going to talk about something that people do care about, hopefully. Before we get into too much of the rigmarole, man, let's just let me lay this thing out like this. If you like what I'm doing, like, subscribe to the content, get me in the algorithm, and I will go accordingly. As I always say, you dig what I'm saying, picking up what I'm putting down, folks. All right. So let's talk about what we're talking about. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I've spoken before about the state of gambling and betting in these here United States as it pertains to the game of professional basketball, baseball, and football. Last month or so, they made a rule that college players can now bet on NFL games or pro games. I don't know if that's just to the NFL, if that applies to basketball, baseball, all of that. Sports betting is legal around the United States. We've had plenty of individuals, everybody from a Malik Beasley to a Jonte Porter, and most recently, a Gilbert Arenas.
Here's what's cracking.
No, we got something to discuss. Look, I'm good for all the trolling. That's cool, but Rachel Nichols is foul.
What did Rachel Nichols do, Gil?
She used my video, and she actually wrote that I possibly snitched.
That were taken into custody by authorities behind some illegal gambling going on. Now, in Gilbert's case, and keep Gilbert in mind because he will come up again in this episode. In Gilbert's case, it wasn't any betting on the games. It was all behind a gambling house out in California that was in his name. His case involved, Israeli spies. It's a messy thing, man. Females that were flown out to be employees or, confidants, if you will. That's a safe word. So, we don't know what all is coming out of that indictment. If you listen to Gilbert says, I'm snitching out the gate. You ain't got to worry about me, cuz I'm telling on everybody.
One is throwing poker games and robbing his friends. Ain't got shit to do with me. I'm gonna tell on this nigga. Wow, I'm gonna tell on him. You know what I mean? My case is all a whole bunch of Igors, and Igors, right?
Israeli spy network. I don't know if that's necessarily people for Gil to be playing with. Gil stay playing. He takes nothing serious. But, in the world of organized crime, man, and big money, I don't know that these boys play like that. You know what I'm saying? And if they're Israeli spies, then we got to understand the people we talking about. And a nigga like Gilbert Arenas does not stand a chance in the face of such adversaries. You dig what I'm saying? So he get on these shows laughing and joking and kikiing kakan about who he gonna snitch on like it's all good. Like, bro, quit playing so much. Everything ain't a fucking game. And so we fast forward up until actually like yesterday, right? I look into my news feed and I see a story about Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier. Now, those are just three of the individuals named in this piece of material that I ran across. Those three were a part of a crew of approximately 30 individuals that were arrested in a sweeping indictment yesterday morning or what have you, involving some illicit gambling operations.
Good morning. Today we are here in New York to announce a historic arrest across a wide-sweeping criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and Casa Nostra. The men and women up here standing with me represent a small portion of the leadership team that brought profound justice in an era that needed it more than any. I'll just highlight some of the details in the case and the FBI work, and then you'll hear from the others. And you'll hear more about those details today. The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling. This FBI will leave no room for any perpetrator of crime across this country. You hear a lot about our work of defending the homeland and crushing violent crime. Well, this work is also representative of a colossal portion of the FBI's mandate to keep America safe and to keep our entertainment industry fair and secure. The men and women that are standing up here today worked tireless hours, days, months, and years. And the fraud is mind-boggling. It's not hundreds of dollars. It's not thousands of dollars. It's not tens of thousands of dollars. It's not even millions of dollars. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery across a multi-year investigation. And we could not have done it without our interagency partners that are before us today. The NYPD, HSI, and teams of law enforcement officials from around the country made this day possible. It takes a team to bring this kind of justice, sweeping justice, into the halls of the United States courtrooms, where our brave United States attorney has led this prosecution. It takes courageous prosecutors to stand before you and say, we will not allow this kind of illicit activity to happen, not only at the national sporting level, but also where it hides in Casa Nostra. And when these two collided together, they perpetrated a fraud that is historic in terms of not just money, but the scheme and the deceit that they utilize to steal and swindle people for money, to include crypto fraud. This is an operation that showcases to you that under President Trump's administration, there is no room for any type of criminal behavior, be it on the world's largest stage or in the back rooms of tiny parlors where card games are being played.
Now, it's said that Mr. Billups and Mr. Rozier and Mr. Jones are in business or in cohortship. Let's say that, cohortship, new word, I like it, cohortship, with people from Cosa Nostra. You will know that name as being affiliated with the mafia, another name for the mafia. I think they used the outfit out of New York or what have you, the Genovese family, the five families and all this. You dig what I'm saying? Go and watch a couple movies, documentaries. They'll fill you into the ins and outs of these organizations. But it appears that these is who these fellas have themselves wrapped up in cahoots with, and that doesn't sound good, especially when you look at the fact that there were 30 individuals named. People so big or into such corrupt and crime organization-y things as Cosa Nostra, the mafia, but we see none of their faces in the indictment, the people that they flash on the screen. For some reason, they only flashed these three black guys.
I see the word mafia,
Yeah.
but the only faces I see is Negroes.
Yeah. Not Crenshaw Mafia.
NBA. You know what I mean? It's NBA. Like, wait a minute, hold on, man. Like, what's going on here?
To be clear, we're announcing today indictments in two major cases, both involving fraud. One involves sports betting, and the other involves illegal gambling, very specifically rigged poker games. The first indictment involves 6 defendants who are alleged to have participated in one of the most brazen sports corruption schemes since online sports betting became widely legalized in the United States. This scheme is an insider sports betting conspiracy that exploited confidential information about National Basketball Association athletes and teams. The second indictment involves 31 defendants alleged to have participated in a nationwide scheme to rig illegal poker games. These defendants, which include former professional athletes, used high-tech cheating technology to steal millions of dollars from victims in underground poker games that were secretly fixed. The games in the New York area were backed by the Bonanno, Gambino, and Genovese crime families of La Cosa Nostra.
Cash Patel in his outfit. You dig what I'm saying? Now, you ask yourself, what would be the motivation if you have 30 people, some of which are involved in, like I said, the mafia, all type of crimes over a number of years? You dig what I'm saying? Stretching out across the United States globally. What would be your reasoning for putting these 3 black NBA all-stars? I don't know. Damon Jones is an all-star. I don't think Rozier's an all-star. Billups was most certainly an all-star. He won him a championship. Detroit Pistons. You dig what I'm saying? That was a hell of a squad. Rasheed Wallace, Tayshaun Prince, Big Ben, Chauncey. You understand? Who was the 5th? I can't remember, but it don't matter. But they won a championship back in the day. So, Big Shot, he's not Big Shot Bob. Big Shot Bob is Robert Horry. But we had a Big Shot moniker for Chauncey Billups because he would always come up in the big spots with a big bucket. And, you know what I'm saying? Some big time defensive moves. Just good ball playing all around the board. And so you look at these things, man, and it's like, bro, I guess it's hard to take the shoes of someone that's... I don't know that Chauncey Billups is in like the $100 million club. At the time when he was playing in the league, guys were getting big contracts, but I don't know that he ever got one that big. But I do suspect that Chauncey Billups has far more than enough money in his bank account to live comfortably and be able to invest and make investments, start businesses, and procure that money on down the road. Double it up, triple it up, make it last forever like Keith Sweat. But it's something about these guys with all of this money. We on the outside looking in. We're like, damn, bro, like the idea of running up $5 million is like, nigga, what? That shit is amazing. You envision being able to make that stretch the rest of your life. So you're talking about people that got multi-million dollar contracts. Like, what are y'all doing with all this gambling, bro? And in Chauncey's case, they said this man was super sophisticated with it. X-ray tables and all. You put on a certain pair of glasses. You can look at the back of the card. The card tells you exactly what that card is. Fixed games.
Now, I would like to turn to the other case, United States versus Aiello, the rigged poker game case. Beginning as early as 2019, the defendants in this case orchestrated a scheme to use wireless cheating technology to run rigged poker games across the United States, including in the Hamptons, Las Vegas, Miami, and Manhattan. The scheme targeted victims known as, quote, fish, who were often lured to participate in these rigged games by the chance to play alongside former professional athletes who were known as, quote, face cards. The so-called face cards included the defendant Chauncey Billups, who at the time of the scheme was a former NBA player and is currently the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, and also Damon Jones, a former NBA player and coach. What the victims, the fish, didn't know is that everybody else at the poker game, from the dealer to the players, including the face cards, were in on the scam. Once the game was underway, the defendants fleeced the victims out of tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars per game. The defendants used a variety of very sophisticated cheating technologies, some of which were provided by other defendants in exchange for a share of the profits from the scheme. For example, they used off-the-shelf shuffling machines that had been secretly altered in order to read the cards in the deck, predict which player at the table had the best poker hand, and relay that information to an off-site operator. The off-site operator sent the information via cell phone back to a co-conspirator at the table and that person at the table was known as the quarterback. The quarterback then signaled secretly the information he had received from to others at the table, and together they used that information in order to win their games and to cheat the victims. Defendants used other cheating technologies such as poker chip tray analyzers, which is a poker chip tray that secretly reads cards using a hidden camera, special contact lenses or eyeglasses that could read pre-marked cards, and an X-ray table that could read cards face down on the table.
You know what I'm saying? Something about Terry Rozier. Information was passed along that he would not be playing the full game. So, take the under on him. That's kind of like the Malik Beasley, the Jonte Porter thing. And there's plenty of other people been involved in it. Well, that was an insurance scheme, so I won't name them. Big Baby and a couple of the guys off the Celtics squad. I think Big Baby is out now, but that shit was involving an insurance scam. But again, these three individuals, X-ray tables, fix the games, prior information on basketball games, what to take, the over, the under. And then you have clips like this of Chauncey Billups taking out his best players when it's only a 5-point deficit that they need to overcome. He sits his best players, ones that's been playing big minutes up until tonight.
So here is another example of a game that I'm convinced Chauncey Billups threw on purpose. So the Trailblazers are down by 7 with about 4 minutes remaining in the quarter, and they're trying to mount a comeback for the ages. They hit the layup 106-101 and wait for the graphic. Wait for it, there it is. They're on a 10-0 scoring run. So fast forward about a minute, Blazers are down by 6. Danny Advia's hooping tonight. He hits the free throw to go down by 5. He's got 37 points. Not 27, not 35, 37 points. As the Blazers try to mount the comeback, they get the ball back now. So they got a chance to win this game, man. So the game now resumes, 3 minutes left, and Denny Advia is on the bench. He's not in the game. He's on the bench. Down by 5 with 3 minutes left, he pulls his top 2 scorers. Riddle me that.
You hear a young man right here talking about this poker game, and he knew it was something fishy with it from the jump. But the whole play about it was that Chauncey Billups is the proprietor and the big name, the big fish to pull.
And it was all built around Chauncey Billups. And I had heard about the game, and the person who told me about it was like, look, I know the game runners. I'm telling you 100% this game is on the up and up. And I was like, well, I know a lot of the people that are involved, and I'm telling you 100% that it is not on the up and up. Yeah. And we kind of went back and forth, and I agreed that I just wasn't going to go play it, but I had some friends who went and played it both in LA and in Vegas, and it obviously was for sure confirmed to be cheated. Mm-hmm. People who clearly didn't even understand the rules of No Limit Hold'em are just jamming hundreds of big blinds in with a gutty and then just drilling it. Only the pros are losing.
This guy Gilbert Arenas thinks this shit is a game, bro. He better quit kikiing and cacaing, because the people that he dealing with have no incentive to keep him above board. Let's just say that, bro.
Here's what's cracking.
No, we got something to discuss. Look, I'm good for all the trolling. That's cool, but Rachel Nichols is foul.
What did Rachel Nichols do, Gil?
She used my video, and she actually wrote that I possibly snitched.
Oh, no, Rachel.
Listen, I'm going to troll with the best of them. But to ask that question,
no, she didn't do that.
Because then it makes me really want to, first of all, 2 of them niggas is gambling on NBA. One is throwing poker games and robbing his friends. Ain't got shit to do with me. I'm gonna tell on this nigga. Wow, I'm gonna tell on him. You know what I mean? My case is all a whole bunch of Igors, and Igors. Right?
Let's read this. The March 24th, 2023 Portland Trail Blazers game. On or about March 24th, 2023, the Portland Trail Blazers played the Chicago Bulls. Prior to the game, the Trail Blazers' record was 32-40, and the team was out of playoff contention with only 10 games remaining in the season. Prior to the March 24th game, a co-conspirator 8 told the defendant, Eric Ernest, that the Trail Blazers were going to be tanking, i.e. intentionally losing to increase their odds of getting a better draft pick in the upcoming NBA draft. Co-conspirator 8 told Ernest before the news was publicly announced that several of the Trail Blazers' best players, including Player 1, an individual whose identity is known to the grand jury, would not be playing in the March 24 game. The information that the Trail Blazers would be tanking and not playing Player 1 was not available to the public, including the betting companies. Prior to the March 24 game, the defendant, Eric Ernest, provided this non-public inside information to the defendant, Marvez Fairley, so that Fairley could place fraudulent wagers on the game and share the profits with Ernest. In exchange, Fairley ultimately promised to pay Ernest at least $5,000 if the bets against the Trail Blazers panned out. That $5,000 amount, bro. I don't know that Terry Rozier is making $9 million a year. Matter of fact, how much was Terry Rozier set to make this year?
Terry Rozier's set to make about $24.9 million this season.
Get the fuck. Hey, send Terry Rozier to prison, bro. Hey, send Terry Rozier to prison, cuz. Let me see what bro said. I don't even think. Let's see if he said that again. Repeat that, please.
$24.9 million.
Terry Rozier was set to make $25 million from the NBA this year. Let's do some more math with Grok, shall we please? Playoffs notwithstanding. Grok, tell me, what is $24.9 million, the amount that Terry Rozier was set to make this year, divided by 82, which would tell us how much he gets paid per game?
90 days worth, let's call it 24 million, divided by 82 games, works out to roughly 293,000 per game.
Terry Rozier, sir, you should start lifting more weights. Because I ain't gonna hold you. Cash Patel is no one that I give a fuck about, period. I feel like he's a weird guy, and they parading these three out to look stupid. But when I look at a guy being a head coach making $9 million a year, when I look at a guy that was set to make right at $25 million this year, a guy that makes right at $300,000 every game, every basketball game, fun-loving shit that a million people, anybody in their right mind, would love to be able to attain this type of status in their life. This guy makes damn near $300,000 a game. And he, oh my God, bro. You know, I was discussing this earlier before I got on, because I'm like, all right, in Chauncey Billups' case, he would make like $109,000 a game. And I said, well, damn, okay, if I'm making damn near $500,000 a week, I guess maybe if I was making another $200,000 direct deposit when I get out of the game through these means, and so it's an extra $1 million a week. Yeah, but $500,000 a week, bro. Like, for a person at that level, at that status, what's the difference in 500 and $1 million a week? We understand the difference in numbers, but for somebody that's of money, live of money, made hundreds of millions already, like what? Now, in Terry Rozier's case, he's damn near making $300,000 a game. Even if he was making another $200,000, I mean, bro, that's less than what I'm breaking in for just going ahead and playing this game. And to get $200,000 or whatever it was through these means in 2025, when it's a financial crime, it's impossible to get away with. a violent crime. I mean, we got shot spotters and ring cams, everything got a GPS. It's hard to get away with anything these days. And to be someone that making so much money, bro, and take such a stupid risk, I don't give a damn if they was paying you $1 million upload. You making $5 million a week. Nigga, did you think you was gonna continue to get away with something that was making you $5 million a week? What are we doing, bro? You gotta go to the pen. I ain't even mad at you, bro. I ain't mad at Cash Patel. It's so egregious that it's like, bro, you need to go get you about 8-12 months or something like this. All from guys that made multiple millions of dollars in their NBA career. In the case of Chauncey Billups, Chauncey left and took a couple of, if I'm not mistaken, he did a little coaching, but you saw him on a couple of the telecasts. Damon Jones went and did a little coaching. Terry Rozier still in the league. A league that now, I don't think there's a contract that's less than 50, 60, 70 million dollars. You dig what I'm saying? I just saw somebody, what was it? Not Bismack Biyombo, some guy I've never heard of, man, but I just saw he signed a 4-year, $100 million extension. So we talking about 25 a year. So I guess that's away from the 50, 60, but 25 million a year, bro, is nothing to scoff at. So I'm confused as to why these niggas are so money hungry and allowing themselves to get in bed, if you will, with highly criminalized individuals, like, and being a black man in the state of affairs that we have in our current government, just the political climate, like, nigga, the worst thing you can be is a nigga that's a criminal. Like, bro, they gonna plaster you everywhere. They gonna make that out to be any well-to-do or seemingly well-to-do black individual. No, get these niggas some money, and they just want to keep doing criminal shit. You dig what I'm saying? So, for the life of me, man, I do not understand what was the motivation behind these little schemes and scams that they're a part of, man. But Cash Patel and his FBI.
Between December 2022 and March 2024, these defendants perpetrated a scheme to defraud by betting on inside, non-public information about NBA athletes and teams. The non-public information included when specific players would be sitting out future games, or when they would pull themselves out early for purported injuries or illnesses. They relied on corrupt individuals, including Jones and Rozier. They also misused information obtained through long-standing friendships that they had with NBA players and coaches. And in at least one instance, they got their information by threatening a current player, Porter, because of his pre-existing gambling debts.
Out here trying to do numbers, and they have swooped these boys off of the streets. You dig what I'm saying? And so that's where we at with it, man. As these details come forward, I will most certainly look around and see what's relevant. And if it's more to bring to you once they actually bring out some more names of these co-defendants and, you know, some tricklings about what people may face. I think we know right now that in like say in Gilbert's case, Gilbert is facing up to 5 years. But again, he says he's gonna snitch. I don't know that he's actually been given that opportunity, or if the people on the other side of this case are treating him as important of a person as he is deeming himself to be. But he seems to think he's got to get out of jail free card, and we'll see how that plays out. As far as Chauncey Billups, I saw him coming out of the courtroom with somebody said, man, he got on a Clutch Sports City. He letting LeBron them know, nigga, I'm snitching.
These people out of millions of dollars.
And when I read that, I'm like, yeah, that's funny how I chuckle to laugh at. But you would not, you know, LeBron James and Clutch Sports, what is his name, Maverick Carter? You'd be hard pressed to make me believe that they were stupid enough to get themselves involved in something so heinous, man. LeBron is a billionaire. I don't think he needed any gambling proceeds. So, but we'll see how this thing goes, man. But there's another 3 of our, I guess you can call them beloved black athletes, man. People that, you know, had gotten themselves in a position to, you know, be beneficial, if you will, or at least just to be some, you know, some some above standing individuals in the culture, man, that, you know, when you get this, black people don't want to do nothing but kill, maim, and destroy and live off of welfare. You know, these are certain individuals that you could point out, even though they're just athletes, but still they made it to the top level in their sport, and maybe they use their money to do other philanthropic efforts and shit like that to you know what I mean, to just make it better for the whole DS sport, man. But when you let yourself get caught up in something like this, bro, it's like you know, you kind of kill any credibility you had, and you just have people looking at you like, what, how stupid of a person. You dig what I'm saying? Like, people out here on the street scared to fuck around with the feds and their money. You talking about high profile, highly visible individuals out here that they would love nothing more than to parade you in front of the cameras and shoot down the character that you took so many years to build up. It's a horrible look, bro. It's a horrible look, and we don't have any reason to come on here and be giving niggas benefit of the doubt. We come over here and talk crazy about niggas about the crazy shit they doing, and it just is what it is. So anybody out there upset and on and got a problem with, oh, you tearing folks down, nigga, I ain't tearing nobody down. I wasn't a multi-millionaire that went out there rigging fucking poker games. You dig what I'm saying? With the mafia. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the mafia is at the point these days. They got the strong hand that they used to, where they just force you to do something, make you an offer you can't refuse. Nigga, make the fucking mafia have to do their job, nigga. If you come on with it. Other than that, you ain't making me do shit. So I don't think there's any built-in excuse for them, and it's just a bad look right now. Now, if they falsely accused and some shit come out later on, then we'll make a show about that. But as we stand right now, the three individuals that have been put in the forefront: Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier. 27 other individuals not shown to the cameras right now, reportedly a part of La Cosa Nostra, formerly known as the Mafia. And so, yeah, that's what these guys have gotten themselves into. And like I said, as details come out, man, I will keep you abreast of everything that's going on. And until then, it's been straight like that. I'm out.